You're listening to a podcast by Last Minute Crack with your host, me, Christina Hamilton. Last Minute Crack is your one-stop shop for all things arts and culture in Dublin City. For more information, check out our website at lastminutecrack.com or visit us on Instagram at lastminutecrack. A special thank you to Thibaut Kemoret for his help with the sound and for the music on this intro. Another thank you goes out to Zoe Spillane for her help managing the page. And now for your episode. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Last Minute Chats. We are here with a gorgeous, stunning, incredible new guest, Leela Baron. Thank you so much for coming to join us today. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Welcome.
good.
It's a Sunday morning, so I appreciate you coming up, rolling out of bed and coming to join us.
No problem. Anytime.
So let's just kind of jump right into it. So I came across you for the first time through Candlelight Cabaret, which is a cabaret show that happens in Lost Lane almost every month now, I think.
Yeah.
Run by a gorgeous friend of the show, Siobhan. And you just captivated me straight away with your stage presence, with your confidence, and with your performance, like your showmanship. So for those who don't know you, you do pole for there, but you do other things like burlesque and stuff, or is it mainly pole?
It's mainly pole. I can't really say that I'm a burlesque dancer in the sense where I don't do like classic burlesque with like the props, the fans and everything and the gorgeous costumes. I can't say that. But I do dance in burlesque shows because they've made a lot of space, especially in the recent years. They've made a lot of space for pole dancers in it, and like other types of dancers, other types of artists like singers, comedians. So yeah.
Okay, so how does this journey begin? Like, I think I read somewhere that you started off quite young, and when you were in France, and it began there, your pole journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about like how did that begin? Well, like where did you go? Pole's the one for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So it's actually quite boring. I was in Paris and I was studying computer programming. And I was very sad. I suffered a really bad burnout. And so I dropped out of college. And my parents were like, okay, what's next? Like, grand, you dropped out of college because it wasn't for you. That's fine. But you need to start thinking, like, don't just stay at home and rot. Like, what do you want to do next? And I was like, okay, something that did make me really happy when I was younger, even though I wasn't very good at it, was ballet. My mom was a professional ballet dancer. Amazing. And then a teacher. So I wanted to go back to dancing, but I didn't want to go back to ballet specifically because I thought, oh, it'll be really disheartening to go back to it and just be like really shit all over again and kind of start from zero. I also really enjoyed gymnastics when I was a kid. I was just like, I was full of energy. I really liked jumping around and yeah, just exerting myself. So I was like, wouldn't it be great if I found like a mix of dancing and gymnastics? And I was just scrolling on Facebook and I saw an ad for a pole dance studio in Paris. And I was like, it'd be really cool to try, but obviously like at the time, well, there still is nowadays a little bit less, but there is still a little bit of stigma around pole dancing. So I was like, oh, I don't know, and like what will my parents say and all. They actually did not care at all. Like my sister said, let's go, I'll go with you. So she kind of pushed me to go and try. I was like, okay, grand. So we went and took the first class and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. This is what has been missing in my life. Like I want something challenging and really fulfilling. And I got all that just from the first class. So I was like, okay, I'm hooked. So I started doing that for a couple of months. And then I realized, I think, that I needed to completely change my environment. My sister was living in Dublin at the time. And I just wasn't happy in Paris anymore. So I was like, okay, I'll go to Ireland just for a couple of months until I figure out what I want to study. So I did that. I found a job, and what was supposed to be 6 months turned out into 5 years now.
It's the classic. It's the
Yeah.
classic. I'm just coming over to visit,
Yeah.
and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
Is it common for women, or like for people, for people to go to pole classes and have that immediate click? Is that something that you find is very common, or does it take kind of a warm up? Because I'll tell you, like, a kind of similar experience. I went to a heels class recently because I'm trying to find my own sexy, my own groove.
Yeah.
But I found it really disconcerting, where it was very much I was thrown into needing to be sexy in the moment.
Yeah.
And they were like, touch your body, feel your body, all this stuff. And I was like, that's great if I had that confidence already.
Yeah.
I don't. And I'm here to build that up. So, but other people go to heels classes and they're like, immediately, this is for me. This is my thing. Is it more one way or the other, or is it kind of a blend of both?
I find it's kind of a blend of both. But I have found like I can only speak for like in my classes, I have found that most of the people that come into my class, they're like, okay, I love this. Like, I want to get better at this. Like one of my friends, Scarlett Van Tassel, she was just telling me recently, she came to one of my floor classes, and she was telling me how before, if she wasn't like kind of immediately good at something, then she'd kind of struggle with it. She'd be like, oh, I don't know if I actually want to keep doing this. And like you kind of like spiral. And I've had that with other disciplines as well, like 100%. And it's a real struggle. But in my class, like I try and really push my students in a good way. Like obviously I'm not a bully. But yeah, I'm just like, you need to do this. Look sexy. And they're all crying.
I believe in you.
They're like, I can't.
Sexy tears.
But yeah, no, like I try and push them and all. And then towards the end of the class, like the move finally clicked for her. And it's that I get really addicted to that spark that I see in the students. They're just like, oh my God, I got it. And now I want to do it over and over and over again to perfect it. That we went back to her house for tea after the classes, and in her kitchen while the water was boiling, she was like doing the shoulder rolls on the floor. So it really depends.
Yeah, I think I need to check myself in the way that I phrased that question earlier, because and it's something you said again in an interview I saw. It's like, you don't need to be sexy for pole. Yeah. And I think that's a thing that maybe people don't get necessarily, because maybe the stuff that they've been, you know, when the context in which they've seen pole has been just sexy, which is great and lovely. Yeah. But I'm interested in exploring like how, like the different ways of expression through that. Do people tend to go straight into like the sexy kind of vibes of things, or do you see people, you know, express themselves in like what other ways do you see people expressing themselves through that? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right in that. I always say like pole can be sexy, but it doesn't have to be sexy. It's same with flow work. Like it can look more kind of like fitness oriented, like look what I can do with my body. Or you can give it kind of like literally anything you want. Like it can be funny, it can be more like maybe like kind of have like hip hop vibes, or literally anything you want. Like you can make it your own. And that's what I always tell students as well. So I really focus in my classes. I always kind of focus on the sexy part, because I have benefited so much from tuning into that sexy part of myself, which I was really shamed for when I was younger. Like I remember being shamed in high school for like wearing makeup or trying to look pretty or like maybe sexier or something. And they were like, oh, like you just want to look good for boys. And I was like, not necessarily, but even if I do, like, what's your problem? Like, why is that a bad thing? You know? Especially then I found out that I was trying to be sexy for boys and girls.
It's okay. We've all tried to be sexy for a boy at one point, probably. We've all tried to be sexy for someone, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. And there's no shame about that. But yeah, sorry, I totally went off course there for a second. But I think it's important to really make it your own and do whatever you want to do. Like if you don't want to be sexy, like if you come to my class and you're like, actually, I don't think I want to be sexy. I think I want to look more like just strong. Then that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to look strong and sexy, come to my classes.
Go to a class, go to a class.
Yeah.
I'm so interested. So I struggle a lot with this concept of like sexuality and sexual expression, right? And when I saw you for the first time, my jaw, like I'm sure the whole audience, my jaw just dropped because it was somebody who, and the performance was of somebody who is so confident in themselves, is so sure that they are beautiful and so sure that they are strong. Like there is absolutely no doubt, no wavering, no nothing in that performance. It's just confidence. It is sexy. It is powerful. How do you do that? How do you get there? Because I can say for my own thing, I've tried to be sexy in different ways and shapes and forms, but I'm always like a little like, like, I'm always like a little bit, I'm trying, but there's always a little bit in the back being like, you look so silly. Do you know what I mean?
I still do get like that sometimes, to be honest. Like I'm still, especially when I'm trying like something new or whatever. Like I went to just like a regular dance class, kind of like commercial dance class, like a couple of months ago, and I was so bad at it. I was really struggling with it. Like I was like I couldn't get the moves or anything, so it was like really challenging in a good way. But yeah, so I was like not tuning into my sexy self at all. I was like, I'm just trying to get the moves. I'm just trying to survive here.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely fine to struggle. But how did I do it? I think it was just practice. It's literally just practicing. What I did myself, and I usually tell my students to do, is get used to looking at yourself in the mirror.
Wow. Okay.
And I know it's hard. I know it's
counts
hard.
out a lot of Irish people.
Yeah.
I don't know how I get over the shame.
I know.
I'm like, I shouldn't look at myself.
I know.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But I think,
it is. But that's how I kind of got over it. I was like, get used to looking at yourself in the mirror and look sexy. Like imagine that you're trying to turn yourself on, like look at yourself in the mirror and try and just let go of that. Like I look silly doing this, because like if you think too much about anything, you look silly. Like I look silly sitting here and talking into this huge thing.
You look great, babe. You look professional, you look good.
But see, like you can overthink everything. So you need to just kind of let go of it. Just be like, I'm trying 100% to tune into whatever it is I want to tune into. And
what are the techniques that you use with your students to kind of pull them out of that shell?
Don't think, just do it. So I'll give them a move and I'm just like, literally just think of trying to do that move. Don't think about what you look like. Look in the mirror and try to do it as perfectly as you can. And then the sexy and the confidence will come with you being able to do that move without having to think about it, like, because it'll feel like second nature. So like a body wave, for example, it's like when you're literally trying to do a wave with your body, which is one of the first things that we teach students in pole dance classes. I'll tell them like, nail it down, get it 100% okay, so that you don't even have to think about it anymore. And then think about making it sexy. And like try and feel sexy when you're doing it, because like it's pretty crazy what we can do with our bodies. Like even when you're an absolute beginner in pole dance and you're learning to do your body waves or just like a simple spin around the pole, like that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I think it's all impressive. Another hurdle that I've chatted to a couple of women about, like, well, I've talked to a lot of people, but it's been women, about you and about this interview, and they've been also excited about it. And there's a lot of people have a lot of questions, right? Yeah. And one of the questions was about the outfits. So Well, because when we see, and I see it, when we see people doing pole in like in the studio or something, you wear like shorts. Like there's a specific thing to wear in
Yeah.
how do you present in like when I say the outfits, look how you want, absolutely. But I'm wondering like, is there a like not a uniform, but like is there what are you supposed to wear to a pole? Like for your first one, like what how do you turn up?
Anything, literally wear anything you want. It can be from shorts, leggings to like the skimpiest bikini you own. It can be literally anything, and I don't know anyone that would look at you and be like, what are you wearing?
Okay.
You know, like that just does not happen in
'Cause
the
I heard
community, or it shouldn't happen.
I heard you should wear the shorts for grip.
Yes, so that's where I was going with this, is you should definitely, if you're trying to do like more advanced moves where you move up the pole, then you should definitely have skin showing, because that's how we grip onto the pole. Your skin adheres to the pole, whereas textile does not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could come with leggings just for the warm up and then change into a bikini or shorts or whatever. I would just say be mindful to have like some skin showing, especially around your legs, so that you can grip onto the pole.
So for people who might not have a lot of confidence for their first like one or two sessions, is it okay to like just wear some leggings and a t-shirt and
It's
kind of figure
fine.
out from there?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. There are some things that you just won't be able to do. But like I've had loads of students who were like, I really don't want to take my leggings off. And I was like, that's absolutely fine. You'll struggle a little bit more. I'll spot you. Like, that's absolutely fine. But overall, please keep in mind that like nobody cares. Like nobody's looking at you, babe.
They're looking at themselves.
Yeah.
Get eye contact. They're turning themselves on.
Yeah. Exactly. They're working on themselves. They have other things to think about. They're thinking about their own insecurities, unfortunately. Like, it's so sad, but that's what we try and work on, is like take off those leggings and like get used to looking at yourself, because the more you look at yourself and see yourself doing really cool things on the pole, this is like totally just what I believe. Like, it's not like, it's just a general rule. What I have found works for a lot of people is like, if you see yourself doing all of these cool things, then you won't even care about whatever you feel insecure about, you know? Like when I started out, I was like, oh, like my cellulite or whatever, or like, oh, I look really bad. I look really silly. But then at the end, I was like, I can lift my own body weight with just my arms. Like, yeah, like I was like, I'm deadly. I don't care about my cellulite anymore. Like, just look at me. Look at what I can do with my body, you know?
Yeah, that's incredible. So I'm interested then, how do you go from pole in the studio to pole on a stage? How does that happen?
So for most people, I have maybe another, like, I had a slightly different career path, but for most people, they would go from dancing in the studio, taking classes, and very often studios have students showcases. So then that's kind of your entry into the performing world, because you can put together a routine and you put it on stage in front of an audience, and you perform it, and you know, it's something that's completely entirely yours, or hopefully completely entirely yours, you know, if you're not performing somebody else's idea of you. Yeah, and then from there you get videos, you get pictures of yourself doing a performance, and then I'd say send on those pictures, those videos, send them on to producers, because one of them is bound to like what you look like, what you convey.
And how do you find producers?
Instagram mostly, I'd say. The first ever person to put me on stage was Memphis Shell. Shout out to Memphis Shell.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah. She runs the Heart of Ireland Burlesque Festival in Athlone.
Yes.
And she produces the shows Only After Dark and their sister show, The Void. And she was the first one where I messaged her and I was like, hey, I kind of want to perform would you be interested at all in having me perform at your show? Here are a couple of videos of me performing or pictures or whatever. And she was like, yes, let's go. Let's do it. So she booked me for my first performance. And then from then on, it was just a recurring thing. And then you get more videos. You just find the people on Instagram. You find more shows. Because if you follow other performers as well, you'll see other shows that they're performing at. And then from there, you can just message other producers.
And how is you finding like the move? I think the move with pole from a private thing that you do in a studio to something that you're incredibly proud of. I think for the people that I've been speaking with, and for myself as well, is something that is kind of tricky, right? Because there is, as you said, like so much stigma around this. And like I know so many people who do it, they do it for whatever reason. Like it doesn't matter. I was gonna say they do it for strength reasons, but it actually doesn't really matter what you're doing at all. But you know, this idea of like, what will my parents think, exactly how you said, or what will people online think of me, or all this stuff. How do you quench that, like that's like fear of perception? Like is that something that just comes with your confidence with your moves, your confidence with your performance, or is it something that does stay with you and you just need to move on from?
Yeah, I don't actually have an answer for that
No, that's
because
okay.
I think for some people it did kind of just went away with time. For me, it did not. It did not. There are still some moments where I'm like, oh, like what do people think? Like people I went to school with,
Yeah.
or like every now and then I'll check in with my parents. I'll be like, are you still proud of me?
Oh no.
Well, I have the best parents ever. Like they're always like, yes, absolutely, and they're always kind of like pushing me to do more and really pursue whatever I want to do. Like when I told my parents I was dropping out of college, they were like, okay, what's the next step? Like they're always like right behind me, like do whatever you want to do. I grew up with my parents really telling me like whatever you want to do, you just do. Like we don't care as long as you're happy. Like my dad, I remember my dad telling me when I was like I think 11, because I told him like, oh, what if I want to be like I don't remember, how do you say éboueur in French? Yeah, with the refusal disposal,
Oh,
like a bin person.
I think they're called like waste disposal or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand what you're talking about.
And I was like, what if I want to do that? And he was like, if you lived under a bridge when you were older, as long as you're happy, like I don't care. And I thought that was so sweet, and I still think it's so sweet. I don't want to live under a bridge, but
You'd be the prettiest troll. Prettiest troll. The pole troll under the bridge.
Oh my god, I need to make that into an act.
TM, sorry, you're gonna have to pay for me now.
Yeah.
That's a trademarked idea. So I'm interested as well in talking to you because when I go and look for you on Instagram doesn't want me to find you.
I know.
It's so mean.
I know.
What is this? Something is happening? Like I thought it was like one or two people, like or one or two posts or something that were hidden. I didn't think social media was hiding the entire account. Is this something that's happening like a lot with a lot of your friends, a lot of the community?
Yeah, a lot of pole dancers, especially depending on the type of pole that we do. Like if we dance a lot with heels and bikinis and all, like immediately shadow banned. It's actually so annoying and kind of disheartening because a lot of my work happens through Instagram. Like when I'm trying to promote my classes, my workshops, when I'm trying to promote my shows, trying to put myself out there, trying to get booked for shows, and the fact that Instagram is making it really hard for me to put myself out there. It's just so, like, sometimes I'm like, why do I even do this to myself? Like,
yeah, it's really tough, and especially because they don't like. Well, last I saw, they pretend like shadow banning doesn't exist, which is like, it's so obvious that it does. Like it's so obvious to everybody. Like I've put in your exact username and you're like the 5th person, including like somebody called like Lee.
Yeah,
Lee someone,
yeah,
Baroness,
yeah.
and I'm like, that's not even what I put in.
Yeah.
What is, who is this? I'm sure they're a lovely person,
Mm.
but who is this?
Yeah.
How do you promote yourself when something like that is pushing back so much?
I'm still trying to figure it
Still
out.
trying to figure it
I
To a
don't know.
podcast like mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I genuinely do not know. Like, I guess a lot of it is also thanks to the people who come to my shows, like
Mhm.
you, or the people who come to my workshops, and
Mhm.
then they talk to other people.
Mhm.
Like, that's a lot.
A lot of word
A
of
lot.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of
How
it, I'd say.
the community, the burlesque, the like cabaret, like the whole community seems so tight knit. Like seems like just such a lovely, supportive, happy family of beautiful people. First of all, how do I get in? And second of all,
You're already in.
I was sick. But like, can you talk to me? We're all about shout outs on the show. We love shouting out people. We love giving people their dues. I want to talk about people in the industry that are inspiring you right now. So do you want to talk about like a couple of people that you love, that you feel like aren't getting like, you know, the recognition that they deserve? Let's talk about them.
I definitely say Daria Decollete.
Yeah, obviously. She's incredible.
I know.
Incredible.
It's disgusting. She needs to stop.
You're making us all look bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's like, not only is she one of my best friends, but she is the one who told me, like, girl, get yourself out there, like, start messaging producers and all to get on shows. Like, she told me, just message Memphis Shell and like try and get on her show. Like, so she definitely inspires me, especially because she's so professional. Like, despite being like an amazing dancer, like just one of the best dancers I've ever seen ever.
Her Shania, when we remember the Shania.
I know.
And
I know
there's
that
a clip. There's a clip of me screaming. I will never forget that moment. I was just so shocked.
I know.
She's so
I know.
incredible.
And she has such range. Like, she's able to do something just absolutely beautiful and really gripping, and she's capable of making something that will literally wet yourself in laughter. Like, she has such range. She's just amazing, and she's an incredible friend. Like, she really pushes you upwards. Like, she's great in all the ways. Other people, I have to mention Siobhan.
Of course, we have to mention Siobhan.
We have to mention Siobhan.
We love Siobhan.
Was always like, if you have a crazy idea, let me know. I'll make it work. And that's how my whole champagne act came together. I was like, I really want to drink champagne on stage and just bathe myself in champagne. And she was like, yeah. Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
It's so nice to have somebody who's a yes person. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And we'll make it happen. Because like, there's obviously like, even in terms of health and safety, cleaning that up afterwards, blah, 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 blah. There's so many things to go through, right? But like, for somebody who can take your dream and make it happen, it's so important to have.
Yeah.
I think Siobhan is somebody as well that like, I can't even remember, like, because it's so early in the morning, I can't remember how I met her, but she became such an important part of my life so quickly. In the way that like she was immediately down to support me. And so I remember we were doing a gig, a last minute celebration last July. It wasn't selling as I wanted it to at all. And she told me to meet her in Street 66 with a load of leaflets, and got Brando, because obviously he's the cute in, her dog Brando, and just ran around to all the queers in Street 66 meaning, you have to go here. You have to go to this gig. Brando says this gig. And I was just like, I can't believe that I have a friend who's really willing to put herself out there like immediately.
I know,
to support me.
Yeah, such a boss lady.
She's so important.
She's steady.
And I think the show Candlelight Cabaret is so fun.
It's
so fun. You get everything in that show.
Yeah,
everything. I remember seeing is it Dr. Fluff on a pole for the first time. They're incredible.
I know.
They were amazing.
I
The
know.
heights that they reached.
I know.
I was like,
strength.
I was just like, woo.
I know. And on top of that, he's just such a little sweetheart. Like,
And
he's so cute.
Oh, I
So
haven't met
sweet.
them.
Yeah.
I haven't had the pleasure, but I hope so.
Yeah.
And then the singing is so
Yeah.
good. Like the performances, it's just an
Yeah.
incredible space. And it's so lovely to see you flourish. As well as all the other performers. I am so sad because we're reaching the end of the show and we have to wrap up. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I want you to promo everything you want to talk about, anything you want to promo, get out there what you want to talk about. Well, follow her on Instagram if you can find her.
Oh, yeah.
Leela Baron.
Yeah, you'll have to really forage for my account, but it's Leela, Leela, Baron, Baron. It's as simple as that's my full name. No, anything else? I guess I should talk about my workshop coming up. There's one that I'm running next week with Daria Decolte. We do doubles workshops where we rent a studio for 3 hours in the Liffey Trust Studios. So we have 3 hours is an hour and a half of burlesque with Daria, and then an hour and a half of floor work with me.
Will that be coming up? Because I'm not sure when we're putting this one out. Does that happen quite often? Just in case they've missed it?
Yeah. It's we run one every 2 months.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
So this one is April, and then the next one will be June, probably. Daria is really hard to pin down because she's always traveling abroad for shows. Love that for her.
Love that for her, hate that for us.
Yeah. I'm like, girl, I'm trying to run workshops here.
And for anyone who is kind of on the fence about joining one of your workshops, what do you want to say?
Honestly, just come. Like, don't think about it. Just come. Like, you don't need any kind of preparation. Like, I have been teaching for a while, and I can really cater to beginners all the way to advanced people. Come if you've been doing floor work for ages. Come if you've never done floor work. Come if you do not know what floor work is. Like, I really cater to everyone. So awesome. Yeah, just go for it and awesome. See if you like it.
Awesome. Leela, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you
for
so much
listening.
For having me.
Oh, stop. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for Music Maker for having us in the shop today, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.